told me. She always said, what did you do out there? But my grandmother, she used to ride horseback. She was a famous horsewoman. And she drove the medications up to Hana when they closed Hana because of quarantines and scares. So they got some horsewoman, my grandmother, to ride the medications back and forth. So that was my mother's side. I'm just gonna, first of all, I have to thank everybody for coming. This is kind of an important topic. I have to thank a lot of people who set this up, who aren't here. The mayor's office, we have the community associations from Chipahulu, Nahiku, and PNI. We have the MISC, Maui invasive species folks. We have, I gotta make sure I didn't forget anybody. You have the county people, specifically Dawn Lono's out here representing Bob Carroll's office. We have the Parks and Recreation, et cetera, et cetera. And we don't have to thank Department of Health. I am Department of Health. So we shall just get going here. We have a pretty tight schedule. We have some guest speakers from Big Island. Big Island has faced this problem since 2004. If they knew what to do, what works and what doesn't work, they will tell us. Always remember, we learn from our mistakes. So hopefully we don't make too many mistakes, but I know the people from Big Island, and they will tell us what works and what doesn't work, and they will tell us what was a mistake or what wasn't. Okay, so let's just get started. There's an agenda. I'm going to try to follow it. The bathrooms are out there. I don't really know where you turn left or right, but I used them once long ago. They're out there, bathrooms. Okay. I have to warn people that we are trying to live stream. That means video, real time, on the Facebook page of the county. So if you really are, we're only going to film up here. But when there's time for questions, and you're going to come up and ask a question, you're going to, if you don't want, you can just say, stop the live streaming. You ask your question, then we turn the live streaming back on. Okay? So we are live streaming. All right. I have to tell you one thing. There is one presentation, how to clean your produce. That's by CTAR, College of Tropical Ag and Human Resources from UH. There will be a presentation, but they couldn't put up their website. There's a website that shows you how to carefully clean your produce, and that's this, gms.ctar.hawaii.edu. So I just put it on my presentation. Okay, we may as well just get started. There's no way to beat the bush around this one. This one is called rat lung disease, and the germ, the parasite, the germ, parasitic worm, is called Angiostrongylus. Angiostrongylus. So a lot of people just say, can we just call it rat lung? Yes, it's a parasite. And that's the germ that's causing the problem. This is a general orientation. Oh, good. Now, never mind if you can't read all the fine print, but this germ goes between the rat lung, and the snail or the slug. And the germ, the parasitic worm, just cycles in here. Man is the incidental host. It's called a dead host. If you get infected, you do not contribute back to the cycle. The cycle is running independent of us. Okay? Now, the interesting thing is, why do we call it rat lung? That's where the adults live, and the eggs are produced in the rat, in its lung. So the cycle gets bigger and bigger and bigger because of the eggs. If the rat puts out 10 babies and it goes into the snail, you don't get more germs because you're stuck with 10. But it develops, it has to go a couple stages into the snail or the slug, and then the rat eats the snail or the slug, and it has to go back to the rat. In this cycle of the worm, the parasitic worm, it's like 4 or 5 different stages. Some stages must go through the slug or snail, and some must go through the rat. Okay? But in the passage, in the rat, after it comes back to the snail, it goes into the brain of the rat. And as it passes through the brain, it pierces to get out, and the rat's still alive, it's fine. And then from there it goes to the lung of the rat and produces eggs. Then the eggs come out in the rat poop. The rat poop is eaten by the slug or snail, goes through a couple of mandatory cycles, and it's eaten again. But you see that passage through the brain of the rat, then into the lung. If man happens to eat the snail form, the germ, the parasitic worm, is looking for the rat, and it will pass up into our brain in about 18 hours, and it will live in our brain for a couple of months, trying to match the rat tissue, wandering around, but our body realizes this is so foreign, we attack it. We cause inflammation, we cause scarring. We'll kill the germ, the parasite, the worm. By that time, the worm is about 1 inch big, and by then, it's a major battle in our brain killing the worm. We do kill the worm, but there's a whole lot of collateral damage, scarring, and inflammation in the process. We never pass the worm out beyond that, but attacking the worm attacks ourselves, and that's the issue. Okay? So once again, it's the rat that's amplifying it. The eggs, the eggs, the eggs, the eggs. And whatever it puts out, 10, then we get 10, and we get 10, and it's 10. But a couple worms, 1 inch long, is surely shocking enough to really incapacitate children. Children, they're smaller, they react worse. So how many worms do we get? I don't know. Depends how much snail you ate. Per gram of snail or slug, I think you can get 40 germs per gram, like size of a pea. So if you get a whopping dose, you're going to get a lot of adult worms wandering around in your brain looking for rat tissue that you happen to kill in the process. Okay, so that's the basic cycle. But do we have to get so involved in this? Yeah, because you can kind of figure out what happens and how to prevent all of this. There is one part of this, you see the slug or the snail? It has to go through there. Once it comes out, it can go onto vegetables, the germ, or the slug, and you eat the slug because it's on your vegetables. Oh, okay. The slug can also get into fresh water, not salt water, fresh water. Thank God that all the OPE is still okay, salt water. But when the slug dies or is eaten by the prawn, these are prawns, that's a bad picture. But you guys go prawning out here, that's my daughter's foot. We go prawning. When the parasite goes into the prawn, it won't hold it. It's the transporter. It doesn't amplify. But you eat the prawn, uncooked, unfrozen, you are asking for this germ. The germ is in the prawn, and the slug with the germ is on your produce. There's a couple more frogs, but we don't eat that much frogs, so I didn't put frogs. It's not freshwater fish. But this one, the prawn, because you got prawn so much, me too, Dad can give it to you. The germ is in the prawn. Right now, off the bat, because we eat so many prawns, you can cook the prawn well for 5 minutes, which I never do. I just kind of singe the outside. Or you can freeze it for 24 hours. That'll kill the germ. So me, I usually put my stuff in the freezer. Usually we end up eating it like 2 weeks later. For sure the germ is dead. But when people say, go get me prawns, we'll eat it now. Ugh. I gotta tell them, you better cook that so well that it's like overdone. Okay. Next, here is the actual germ, the parasitic worm. Okay, that looks like a worm. Well, how big is it? Well, this is red blood cell. Red blood cell. I put it exactly scalar for you. So that the worm, at this stage that infects us, is about as big as 5 red blood cells. So what? You need a microscope to see red blood cells. So if you say, let's go look for the germ, and you're not going to see it at the stage that it affects us. You can see the slug that's carrying it if you got pretty good eyes, because the baby is about as big as a match head, and the adult is about 1.5 inches. So you can see the slug, big or small, but you're not going to see the germ. Well, why do we bring this up? Remember the slug that dies in the water? Some people claim that now the germ is in the water, free living in the water. or the germ is in your prawn. Well, I'm not going to open the prawn and say, well, there's the germ. You can't see it at this stage. Okay? So I just wanted to kind of keep that in perspective. Next, we have the slug. I've been looking all over for this slug all over Maui since 2007. I see a lot of slugs. I see a lot of African snails. Why am I looking for this slug? The African snail we always have, the Cuban snail, slug we always have, it carries the germ. Great. Well, do we eat African snails? Not really. Why not? Because I would know when I eat it or not. So some guys from the UH, foreign students, said, we have this at home, let's eat it. And they didn't cook it. Okay. Some special forces, Green Beret, survival school. Well, they said, well, watch this, I'm going to eat this. And they got sick and died. This was the 60s. So Hawaii was told, don't eat these things, especially raw. Okay? Well, all of a sudden we have an invasive slug. It's called a semi-slug. First discovered, it's coming out of Southeast Asia. First discovered in Oahu in 1996, and then on the Big Island in 2004. And so I kept going to the Big Island, show me, I want to see, I want to look on Maui. They couldn't show it to me. I go up there and they said, we couldn't find it. Until 2 months ago I went, and they said, now we got it. So they go ahead and show it to me. And I said, wow, that's good, I see it, I know what I'm looking for. Now let me look, because I'm interested in seeing how easy it is to find. The first thing I turn over is this, 5 slugs on the underside of a, I don't know, this plastic flower pot. These are, that's a nickel. So these are pretty big. The thing that fascinated me is, you can barely see it, but on the back, there's this kind of pad of muscles. And if you push on the side, there's an opening, a long opening. And there's something yellow under there, yellowish. You see a yellow tinge, yellow, a little bit yellow. I thought that was the grossest thing I've ever saw. I said, what is that, pus? And they said, no, you idiot. That's the vestigial shell, leftover shell, like a snail, that's non-functional. It keeps a little cap. So I really thought it was pus. I got this stick, started poking it. It has the consistency of a grape skin. It's not hard like your fingernail. And to me, that was fascinating. I said, this is bizarre. And they said, that is the marker for your semi-slug. The semi-slug, if you kill them all on the Big Island, they are carrying the parasite at about 80%. The African snail and the other Cuban slug that we all have, they're carrying the parasite at 25%. Once you introduce these into your population, you're running the cycle at a high, hot rate. And man is the incidental one who gets this once in a while. Well, that's interesting. To me, they were always hanging upside down. So when Big Island talks about chopping, like, what? Do I just turn over the rock and look? No, you're supposed to look upside down. And my wife says, she thinks it's because there are many things that kill this slug. Other slugs, other parasites, nematodes, like worms. The rat lung is just one of millions. There's stuff to kill this slug. And that slug stays off the ground. This is my wife's theory. Stays off the ground unless it has to come out at night, foraging. When it goes back to sleep, get off the ground. This slug likes to go up, off the ground. The ground's got parasitic worms that'll take out this slug. It's got parasitic slugs that'll kill this slug. So this is like a constant battle here, where the slug is trying to avoid other stuff as well as us. The slug, when it gets the germ, that rat lung germ worm, I don't think it affects the slug that much. It's a true parasite. It's well adapted. It doesn't kill the slug. It doesn't kill the rat. And that's how a parasite should behave. Don't kill the host, otherwise you're going to get passed on. So this is the slug, and that's the nickel. And this is me now, eating my morning banana. Oh, I just want to cut the banana, eat the banana. I gotta check those slugs. Oh, in the old days, Pan, we just eat the banana. This ain't the old days. This slug is all over, it's spreading all over the Big Island, and now it's gone. I was gonna look, but you guys sent me the pictures. I don't have to come. When you send me the pictures, I'm gonna take your word for it. You're not taking a picture from the Big Island or from China and saying, look what I found in my backyard. It's from your place, right? If we get too much hanky-panky with sending pictures that don't belong here, I'm going to say, you know, you take a picture of a slug, I want to see something of Hana in the background. But come on, we're above this, right? You send me the picture, I'll come and look. Now we're getting pictures from Napili, from God knows all over Maui. But that's good. I don't have to go and look. But I tell you now, talking to you, it's very focal. Some guys can look, not find it. The other guys is like planning. That's interesting. That's how it's spread in the Maui. Okay, so that's me. Now I gotta check a banana. This is not the good old days. That's that. Check this. Same picture. The adult slug, this is a nickel. Well, it's the same, well, not the same nickel, but it's a nickel. And here's the baby slug. Oh, you mean I gotta check my produce for slug? I can check it for big slugs, but that thing is getting kind of small. And when you get bad eyesight, when you gotta watch the produce for like 100 guys coming over, and you know, you're in a rush, well, don't be in a rush. Furthermore, check this out, guys. Let me get this straight. Check this. Dr. Hollingsworth, UH, he's on Hilo. I went to see him in 2007 because I was worried about this. He published this paper and said, you know what, you're checking for this slug on your produce, and yeah, it can kind of get small. But there are many kind of worms out here. Some hunt that slug and eat it. Good, slug control. Bad, when it eats that slug, it takes the parasite. Whoa. So just because it kills a slug, it took the parasite, and that baby of the flatworm, the baby slug, is almost invisible. Well, wait a minute, which one I'm watching for? Watch it all. Imagine that some slugs took the parasite from the bad slug, and then the babies are invisible. When you clean produce, you just keep washing even though you don't see anything. And we in medicine call this hyper cleaning. Like, I don't see anything, yeah, I will keep washing it. But sometimes you don't, it's so small. Okay, then what about the disease? Okay, you ate the slug, baby slug. You didn't know. It goes into your stomach, it comes through your intestine, and in about 18 hours, it's up into your brain. It'll stay in your brain maybe a couple months until you kill it. How are we going to kill this parasitic worm? We can kill it in the first 18 hours as it passing through your blood. We can. Well, are you going to come to us? Well, you're not even sick till about 15 hours. Okay, so we just give the drug as soon as we can. No. Once it's in your brain, and we kill it all in your brain, your body reacts to it to clean it up. That's scarring. So if you kill it in the blood, that's good, never went to the brain. If you kill it in the brain, that's bad. You probably cause more scarring. Whoa. So when do we give it? I don't know. But the people they're not going to come to you. They're not even sick until maybe, I don't know, 15 hours or so. So how are you going to be sick? You're going to be headache, slight fever, and body ache. You're not going to have a cough. You're not going to have a head cold. This is not a head thing. Maybe you have a rash. Maybe you have other stuff. Wait a minute. Headache, fever, body ache. When have I heard that before? Dengue, leptospirosis, typhus on the other side. That's headache, fever, body ache. So you mean we're going to go through all that? Call your doctor, check with your doctor. I wonder if this is rather or not. Yeah, I think you kind of have to. Now, my counterpart talked to the hospital today to tell all the docs, get ready for these calls. Chad Meyer's out here, he's retired. Yeah, call him. He probably wants to talk to you anyway. And you just ask him, what do you think, Chad? And then he'll call me or I'll call the guys at the hospital. Well, aren't we jumping the gun? Because if you don't have treatment for me, why should I call you? Well, why do you call a doctor? He will do an examination. He will draw lab tests. And what if it's not rat lung? What if it's dengue? Well, what if it's Zika? That is a public health emergency. You do not want Zika here. You absolutely do not. I just came back from many international conferences. It's tons worse than we thought. That's why, because you might have Zika, dengue or Zika. Or you might have rat lung. Well, what are we going to do for the patient? Well, we try to support you as best we can, but as Chad and I were talking about, what are we going to do for the rest of your family? Like prevention, education, help check for the slugs. That's what we should do. And what if it's leptospirosis or typhus? Well, then we've got to give an antibiotic, and you better give it quick, say in the first 4 days. So when you're sick and you say, well, it's right long, they don't do anything for me. Yeah, well, not that much, but what if it's not right long? And you should come in, we work you up, we draw some tests, and we treat you with drugs because leptospirosis can be lethal, and typhus, the other side of PA, it can be lethal too. So that's the reason why we should want you to at least call your doctor, but call me. I'll say, you know, what we think. Don't forget, the examination, if you say, why? What's the doctor going to see that I can't see? Trust me, there's stuff we can see that you can't see. Okay? So, and it's a different setting when you come to us. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'll be around for questions afterwards. And now we have another speaker. She works with me, Sarah.
Yeah, we're going to take 5 minutes to set up some more chairs.
Okay, we'll take 5 minutes, set up more chairs. I think we have some time. I'll put it up for 20 minutes.